Peace and blessings. This is Raisa Kiwala, the divorced Muslimah coach, and I support the spiritually conscious woman during the roughest time of her life to heal from divorce and reinvent herself to live a life as an authentic, whole, healthy human being, creating a new life, family dynamic for herself and her children. So today is Check-in Tuesday, and it's been a rough week. It's been a hard week. It's been a week where we've all needed each other and we've needed support more than ever. And alhamdulillah, I feel like it's been there. I feel like, you tell me, in your communities, in your societies, have there been people coming together in hope, in love and acceptance and solidarity? Hey Radha, good to see you. Thanks for joining. And so it's been a rough week, but alhamdulillah for all of the blessings and the good that comes out of every single situation, and to be able to spot it and to see it and to focus on that rather than the hate and the anger and the fear. Yes, we have to process all of that, but in a way that is healthy, in a healthy space, safe space and outlet, so we can move forward in the right way, in the right direction, because we are here, we are alive, and we have a life to live. We have a purpose for that. Hey Sadia, good to see you. Thanks for joining. And so I've had a lot of reflections about what's been going on in the week, and I did post something about it, but one of the things that I wanted to you tell me, do you want me to come live in this group and we talk about how we're processing what's going on and how it's affecting us in our life? Or because I was going to come on today and talk about managing or dealing with people's feelings and interacting with other people based on how their feelings are making you feel. And how do you handle that? How do you interact with people when you are feeling responsible for someone else's feelings? For example, if someone says to you, makes a comment about your divorce and says, did you really think this through? Is this the right thing for you? Maybe you should try reconciling, and making assumptions about you that maybe you haven't thought it through, or maybe you shouldn't, putting their own opinions. Perhaps, it's coming from a place of sincerity and meaning well, but putting their own opinions onto you. So do you have to take that? Do you have to take someone else's opinions, comments as your truth? And if someone is maybe distraught or maybe upset or disappointed in a decision that you've made regarding your divorce, or how you're choosing to live your life, or what direction you're taking it in, how do you handle that? And the biggest thing here that I really want to point out is our feelings are always coming from our thinking in the moment. Feelings come from thought in the moment. So if someone is expressing themselves, remember that it's all about them, that their expression, even if it's something about you, it's their version, it's their lens that they're looking at, and their experience of how they're seeing you and how they're seeing your experience. It doesn't mean that it's truth, or you have to listen to it, or you have to obey it. And so what happens is that a lot of times when somebody makes a comment, or they're upset about something that you're doing, how does it affect you? Do you get worried? Do you get nervous? Do you get anxious? Do you feel like there's something wrong with you? Just being conscious of the thoughts that are running through your mind is so helpful, because that is what is creating that is what's causing your feeling, number one, and that is what is creating your experience of how you're perceiving your life moment by moment. And so you can pause, you can reflect, you can just be conscious on another level of yourself. Okay, well, this is what I'm feeling. And, and sometimes it goes so fast that it's just instinctual that you feel this way, and then you start to have that self-doubt. Then you start to question yourself instead of trusting yourself. And then you think, oh, maybe am I doing the right thing? Not from a space of reflection, but from a space of that doubt and that uncertainty. When you already have clarity, if you already have clarity and you know that you're doing the right thing in how you're choosing to live your life or how you're choosing to move forward. And so being conscious of how their response or their reaction is making you feel, and then seeing, is it causing you to doubt? Is it causing you to feel like you have to show up differently? And this is really common with children. I mean, yeah, it happens with adults all the time, but I see it so much more with children, because children feel like they have to manage their parents' feelings and emotions and make them okay, like calm and happy. They feel responsible for that, especially going through divorce. So if a parent is upset, a child will adjust themselves, will control and suppress and not be able to be their authentic self, because they're worried about how being themselves will affect the parent and make them, because nobody can make you respond a certain way, whether it's anger, frustration, disapproval. So, I want to ask you today, how you, because when we know that feelings is coming from thought in the moment and it's an inside job, you can't make decisions based on what someone else is feeling and wanting for you. So can you notice the turbulence or maybe the uneasiness within you when you don't want to do something or make a certain decision, but you feel like you're forced into it? You feel like you're obligated to make a different decision or to do something differently. And you change your mind, and you're not doing this with sincerity, but it's with like this level of resentment and bitterness, because there is a difference when you change your mind to do something for someone else because it'll make them happy, from a space of sincerity, like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal for me and I want to do this, versus you're doing it out of obligation or guilt or out of fear, one of those three things. And there is a difference, because when we start understanding our own self-awareness into our own feelings, blaming someone else for our own actions because we're not satisfied with the decision that we made is not helpful or a solution for us, because it leaves us as a victim feeling powerless or helpless, and that's not the case, because at every moment we have autonomy over ourselves, in our decision, in our thinking. We have autonomy over ourselves in those regards. So you don't have to own or take on someone else's feelings and change yourself, your personality, how loud you are, how shy you are, the way you dress, the way you talk. You don't need to change any of those things to make someone else feel okay, because it's not the variables or the circumstance or the person that's causing feelings. It's thought in the moment, and for you it's your own thought in the moment, and for another person it's their own thought in the moment, their thinking, right? So we can't go in there and know what their thinking is, or adjust it or manipulate it or control it. And we can only see what the outer is, which is actions and behavior, right? But it's not our responsibility to change someone's actions and behavior. the way people show up and behave is not just a reflection of themselves, but it's totally their own personal responsibility. So see if you can just leave that there for them to own, right? And not take it on. So, because we don't want to get into the situation of feeling like we have to change ourselves, our personality, or our decisions, and then, as an obligation or a favor to someone else. And then when it's not reciprocated or appreciated or valued, feeling disappointed and hurt by how they respond to it. So don't make assumptions on what you think or who you think you need to be, and then have expectations that you gave up certain parts of yourself or you changed yourself for someone else, and now you're in a hot mess because and I know this because I've gone through it myself. Until I knew better, until I learned better, I learned differently. And so, and now I know better that that's my job is to be me. That's why I'm here. That's why I was created upon this earth. And your job is to be you. And for us to not allow or feel obligated that we have to change ourselves for other people. And one of the ways to really get through that is thinking like, look, you can be and do anything that you want to. It's really comes back to your two most important relationships. How is what you're doing and how you're showing up, how is Allah thinking about it? How is Allah viewing it? You can do anything you want as long as you're not displeasing Allah. There's the road is wide open in that space in terms of being able to be your true authentic self and to do whatever you want. You just have to please Allah. We're not here to please people because it's impossible. That's not what we were designed for. So I want to hear from you, and I want to know what makes it so difficult to be yourself, to be you, that authentic, messy, yourself, good enough self you. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I know the path is not easy to that. But I want to hear from you what makes it so hard. What is the most challenging? And I want to know if this was helpful, this video was helpful, and just kind of walking through it was helpful. Let me know. I want to hear your comments and let me know what you want to hear about on our next topics coming up. So thanks for listening. I have to hop off now because I have another appointment, and I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Peace and blessings.